The 1-Year Bible Storybook by Virginia J. Muir. Today's story is about commandments about loving God and commandments about loving others. They're called the 10 Commandments. It comes from Exodus chapter 20. God met Moses there on Mount Sinai, and he told him how he wanted the people of Israel to live. First, he gave Moses 10 important rules that we call the 10 Commandments. The first 4 of those rules tell how men and women and children should feel about God himself. 1. I am Jehovah your God. You shall not worship any other God. Our God made us, and he loves us, and he wants us to love him and worship him. This commandment warns us not to believe in any false gods, as some people do. 2. You shall not bow down and worship any kind of idol. When this commandment mentions idols, it means more than just statues of wood or stone or plaster. Each of us can easily begin to love something more than we love God. It might be money or nice clothes or special friends. These things can get to be idols. God says to worship only him. 3. You shall not take the name of God in vain. This means that when we use God's name, we should do it respectfully because he is a holy God. We must not swear or say God's name in a careless or irreverent way. 4. You shall keep the Sabbath as a holy day. God created everything in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested, and he didn't do any work. He wants us to keep one day as a special day in which we worship him and we don't do our usual work. The rest of the commandments tell us how we should behave toward other people. 5. Honor your father and your mother. God says we must respect our parents and obey them willingly. God promised long life, to those who keep his commandments. 6. You shall not commit murder. Murder is always wrong. In the New Testament, the Lord also warned us that hating others and wishing they were dead is like having murder in our hearts. 7. You shall not commit adultery. This commandment is about sexual sin. When a man and a woman sleep together, when they are not married to each other, that is adultery. We must also keep our thoughts and our words pure. 8. You shall not steal. You must never take anything that belongs to someone else and keep it for yourself. If you have done this, we must give it back or pay for it. 9. You shall not tell lies. We must be very sure everything we say is exactly true, and that we don't hide the truth by keeping quiet when we should speak. 10. You shall not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor. Coveting is wishing we could have things that belong to other people. God wants us to be content with what he has given us. After giving Moses the 10 Commandments, God told him more than 600 more rules he wanted the people of Israel to obey. Rules about getting along with one another, being clean and healthy, taking care of our property, and keeping their lives pure so they could please God. This is the 10 Commandments.